You need to be able to build muscles that help you better understand and meet the expectations of the federal government by speaking in their language. Resistance training increases muscle strength by making your muscles work against a weight or force. I'm Lisa, and yes, this is Work Wednesday. If you're training to become a champion, you have to come out of your comfort zone. These little itty bitty things. So when I tell you there are two forms of resistance when creating a federal resume, the first is in your mind. You absolutely don't want to do the work. You don't want to detail every job to the extent necessary or required. And you don't want to reveal the little itty bitty greedy details of your financial life or personal life through the security clearance process. Doing so will push your mind up against weights. Not weights like these, but the weight that says I'll do it tomorrow. I'll wait and do that later. I'll wait until the right job comes along. My wordplay with Work Wednesday came from the projection that we're in the middle of the week, the slope, the downhill, the over the hump. Yet there is no slack when looking for a federal job. This is where we begin to add the weight, the 5,000 characters, the weighty words that fill up your job description. A federal resume is unlike anything you've created before, which is the second form of resistance, change. Here we're building both your mind and your actions, because I can give you all the tools and proof and keywords that you need. But if you're not willing to implement the change, to put it to work for yourself and use them, you'll never get the results you desire with the federal government. I believe that mediocrity grows in comfort. And as I stated just a moment ago, a beginner does need to train 2 or 3 times a week in order to get that maximum, that champion benefit. There is definitely enough videos right here that you can know how and what to do when you watch all of them, all the way to the end, as I always say. That's where you're going to get the gain. Think of me as your trainer, your career coach trainer. Our Work Wednesday today is going to consist of the stretching that I've talked about in order to diversify the federal resume, that one monster, great big federal resume that conveys all of your knowledge, skills, and ability. At the time when you feel like giving up, these videos are calling you out. Well, that's if you subscribe and turn the notification bell on, which you should have. They're saying, come on, give me 5 more. That's right, give me 3 more, 1 more. These videos are saying, smart people, this is not the time to quit. This is not the time to wait. This is not the time to cheat your career. This is the time to muscle up and make yourself seen. I've given you ample proof on why you should do it this way. And Work Wednesdays, I'm giving you the tools to do so. We're going to look today at a janitor and an entrepreneur named Bob. Bob has spent the last 5 years working in the same location as a janitor. For himself, he's an independent contractor, his own business. He's self-employed. He doesn't think of himself as anything extraordinary. He begins his shift, let's say at the office around 6 p.m., when the greater majority of the workers have gone for the day. His routines are facilitated like clockwork. He begins to dust up on Tuesdays and he dusts down on Thursdays. On Fridays, he mops the floor and takes out the trash. On Mondays, he restocks supplies and reviews the grounds. There is a method to his process and so many things in between. But he's still, in his own mind, just a janitor. Bob has always known that there's a military installation just a town away. But he's just a janitor and it's just a small contract. Bob enjoys being self-employed. However, he is in need of some medical insurance for his growing family. And his shoulder starts to hurt by taking on this large building. And his brother-in-law hasn't been as reliable as he thought he would be to work on this project with him. If you work in maintenance or janitorial services or housekeeping or hospitality, throughout this video, I'm going to provide you with typical keywords and sentences that are written concisely. All will reflect the knowledge, skills, and abilities on the slides, and some I'm going to point out, many I will not. Bob is ready to get his piece of the American pie. He's ready to work on that post because he's just as capable and just as deserving of a federal job as are you. So Bob, Belinda, Butch, Becky, whatever you're going to be, it's your job to listen, write down the task that you've completed, rinse and repeat. Because throughout this video, I'm going to also give information for business people, entrepreneurial thinking people. I advise you to likewise. Irrespective of what your business is, pause, listen, and repeat in totality all the way through. I'm addressing how best to maximize your 5,000 characters from a higher advantage point, from a business view. There are a varieties of levels that you may have overlooked. But even at the most basic look, this is a business or a service that might be a venue for you to expand your knowledge, skills, and abilities. Let's take a look at this chart. See, I didn't forget. I told you I was going to come back to that chart. That chart I used in my workshop a decade ago, helping displaced workers understand the depth of skills they had. And here I am today showing you. There's Bob. And see those KSA, knowledge, skills, and ability. You need to be able to build muscles that help you better understand and meet the expectations of the federal government by speaking in their language. So there's Bob, and K is for knowledge. Knowledge in hazmat material, such as batteries, lighters, and so forth. They're regulated by the federal government, and they require proper storage and use in such a way that it keeps those who use those toxins, as well as those who are exposed to them, safe. Bob does in fact have a knowledge of using hazmat material. Those cleaning supplies, insecticides, fumigates are regulated and hazmat material, as are lighters, batteries, and so forth. They're regulated by the federal government and they require proper storage, disposal, and use. Now we're looking at S, skill. Bob has to make adjustments and minor repairs. At 9 p.m., when that buffer breaks, not only does he have to have the skills to repair it on the spot, he does have to have the professionalism to use it properly. And on those emergency snow days, who do they depend on to come right back in and work in the early morning to remove snow from sidewalks or driveway with those machineries, the snow plows, the snow blowers, and even manually the shovel, and once again, the chemicals to melt it. A is the ability to be secure. Security requires a level of trustworthiness and self-management. In this example, our guy Bob, he's the owner of the janitorial service that he provides. And as an experienced professional or entrepreneurial, Bob is responsible for not only his own safety, but also his own negotiating and contracting for himself and the services of his brother. While in the building after hours, he has access to everything. If Sally leaves the office kitty on her desk overnight, she has to be able to feel confident that the service provider, the contractor in charge of maintenance, is trustworthy. Now we know there is far more in the building to steal than the $20 and change from the coffee fund. Who has the keys? Bob. Bob is vigilant. He knows the building from top to bottom. He is an intricate part of inspecting and evaluating the personal security of the facility to reduce the vulnerabilities to personal and facility harm from fraud, waste, and abuse. Now let's take a look at the second column. It expands upon each of the knowledge, skills, and abilities that Bob has initially. Now we're looking at those he's acquired or can use as a manager, even as a long-term employee. because like you, and even as an investor in real estate myself, Bob does perform the financial tasks such as estimating costs, preparing and managing budgets in order to maintain material, and bid for contracts that are received. Likewise, now having managed this contract for 5 years, Bob must most assuredly recommend changes that could improve the services and increase operational efficiency. A maintenance worker notoriously has to wear many hats. You may very well be establishing or implementing operational standards and procedures for your very own department of one. Those supplies he uses, he manages them. If he were to go into work and frivolously use an entire case of supplies, I can assure you his ability to budget or distribute material would come into question, and most certainly would be looked at as waste and possibly fraud. Those key words and sentences I'm providing can be applied to actual positions that are posted, and I've shown you right on USA Jobs. Many have flexible schedules, as you've seen, and most certainly all come with federal benefits such as health care and retirement. And there are listings that are actually being sought for people with disabilities or spouses of military service members, as well as the general public. Smart people, which one are you? Now, granted, this is not a high-paying job. These positions, however, provide a foot in the door. But most immediately, for Bob, they provide the medical stability that his family needs, and possibly the financial stability that his business needs, as he contemplates, can he operate both? Use these sentences I've provided, not in bullet form. Create a paragraph, weaving in, intertwining the specificities of your work. Do you work in a school? Do you work in an office building? Do you manage 10,000 square feet, 1, 2, 3, 4 buildings? Smart people, these Work Wednesdays are a resource, a tool. And if you have a hiring authority that you're eligible for, be sure to upload your documents. Was that a workout? I think so. And you're stronger and should feel more confident every time we do this. No more wait. Just wait. Weigh in and be counted as highly qualified. Check out my Work Wednesday playlist and pull from the number of occupations. Different forms of resistance training include using free weights, weight machines, resistance bands, and your own body weight. A beginner needs to train 2 or 3 times a week in order to gain the maximum benefit. Was that a workout? I think so, and you're stronger and should feel more confident than you were before. Now get to it. No more wait, just wait. Weigh in and be counted as highly qualified. So that's bye for now.